Uh, it is now 19:05. Welcome everyone to tonight's session. We'll be doing a presentation on the African digital currency revolution, specifically looking at the Lumi digital currency as championed by the State of the African Diaspora, the African Kingdoms Federation, as well as the SOAT. So without any further ado, I would like to just welcome Moa to just take the ball and take us through the presentation.
Good evening, everyone. We are glad that you are joining us tonight. We welcome you, and we want to just indicate we're speaking to African digital currency revolution enabled by Lumi currency, a project championed by State of African Diaspora and the ECO 6. This is a revolution and which is having certain elements which will speak to ECO 6 formation, Africa's state. We'll also talk about Lumi digital currency and the agreement signed by African heads of state. We'll also show a few practicalities of Lumi and the ways in which you can use it. And we'll have last 30 minutes or say 20 minutes or so, Q&A and discussions and announcements if there's any. Now, let's kickstart. African Union
Moa, do you want
has...
to share your screen?
Okay, so apologies. Let me just do this. Apologies for that. I would like to share my screen, yes. And my screen is coming through. Okay, I hope everyone can see that. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I had just indicated that we will cover a few grounds, and this is where I started when I spoke to issues. We'll deal with practicalities of Lumi and ways to use it, and we're sharing examples of someone who is actively doing that, and we'll also do a Q&A. Now, let's kick in. Africa has 5 economic regions, which were established under Organization of African Union in 1991 through the Abuja Treaty, and in 2019, another economic community was established that is composed of community of states, nations, territories, and realms of the African diaspora, namely the 6th region with more than 300 million people, including more than 6,000 indigenous communities in the Americas.
Why is it that a continent so rich in minerals, water, and fertile soil, we are counted among the beggars? Why?
Now, those are fundamental. That's a fundamental question, and the problems are actually much deeper. And the next is showing the deep sense of how Africa is in trouble.
Do you believe that the government of France still has a lot of control over a number of African nations of their former colonies? They have significant control over all of their former colonies, specifically 14 of them. Just to give you the highlights of what they did when they were giving the independence, so to speak, to their former colonies. They forced them to sign a document which they are calling the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization. You have to understand, on one hand, they are saying we're giving you independence, which turned out to be mostly political independence, but that you also have to sign this document, which is titled the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization. So you're going to be independent, but you have to agree to continue to be colonized. So 2 countries said, absolutely not. We are not going to sign those that document. Those 2 countries? Mali and Guinea. Okay. And what the French did, they went into those 2 countries, took everything that they thought they had brought to those 2 economies, poured concrete into the sewage pipes, and completely devastating the 2 economies. This was done as a way of letting the other countries know that if you do not sign this document, this is the fate that awaits you.
Now, Mapping Africa's economic wealth, which basically still gets harvested and benefiting foreign continents. That's basically a whole lot of minerals, including petroleum, gas, and so on and so forth. This map is a bit better. It shows petroleum and natural gases, crude oil, gold, coffee, grains, teak, and a whole lot of other minerals that all industrial revolutions have depended on and continue to depend on, and they are all sourced from Africa. And these are not benefiting Africans as it is supposed to be, and this needs to be resolved. And
for me, when I'm watching on television and I find our leaders who should have been working together all along to address these problems that commonly affect their countries, wait until they are invited to go to Europe, to sit there and just it's like they are made to sit down and address their problems. Why does anybody wait for that? What image does it even give about us, about Africa? In fact, the image it gives is that we are not there to even address these problems. We are there for a photo opportunity.
now Africa is said to be losing 40 billion rand in fact USD. That is more than 40 USD, billion USD, and this is a problem over and above what has been shown now. Now, Africa's time is now, and the next slides are telling us of a great reset opportunity as led by ECO6, led by His Royal Highness Chief Timothy McPherson, and State of the African Diaspora, led by Prime Minister Dr. Louis Georges Tin and Queen Sheba III, Her Imperial Majesty. Now, that's Chairman Chief Timothy McPherson on the left, with African Union Deputy Chairman, His Excellency Kwesi Kwate, and the head of the State of African Diaspora, Prime Minister Dr. Tin, who is showing his face there and also serving as the head of Secretariat of the ECO6.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sharon Shaw, and I am the Minister of Family and Social Economy for the State of the African Diaspora.
Dr. Cheryl serves under Dr. Tin. And the third institution, the first one being ECO6, headed by Chief Timothy McPherson, and the second one headed by Dr. Tin, that is the State of African Diaspora. The third one is the Royal House, headed by Her Imperial Majesty Queen Sheba III, who is leading a campaign to eradicate Africa's debt. And I'm happy to share those video clips with you. It's long interviews on national TV that she did with South Africa. Now, the next two slides are showing us how Lumi is able to bring some changes that are quite revolutionary in Africa.
Our sun. It has been burning for over 4.5 billion years, and yet it is still less than halfway through its life. Worshipped by many civilizations and religions, it is the enabler and sustainer of all life on our world. The great continent of Africa. Truly, it is the cradle of life on our planet, and today it is home to many people and cultures. Bathed in sunlight, its jungles, deserts, mountains and plains have given rise to, and support, a rich diversity of wildlife. Africa is also rich in precious metals, minerals and agricultural resources, which have given rise to the wealth of industries and nations. But this wealth has not been wholly to the benefit of the nations of Africa, as this excerpt, from a speech by Manance Bart Williams, from Sierra Leone, suggests. One thing that keeps me puzzled, despite having studied finance and economics at the world's best universities, the following question remains unanswered. Why is it that 5,000 units of our currency is worth 1 unit of your currency, where we are the ones with the actual gold reserves? With all its mineral wealth, plus the abundance of daily sunlight, Africa has the ability to become an economic powerhouse. And this starts with creating a unifying, global non-fiat currency, one with real intrinsic value. Introducing the African Kingdom's Lumi, a non-fiat digital currency that is underwritten by an established unit value, equating to 100 kilowatt hours of solar energy, at a market value equal to 0.2592 grams of gold, which equates to $15 and 96 cents per AK Lumi. The AK Lumi is classic money with the following features. 1. It is a store of value. 2. It is a unit of account. And 3. It is a medium of exchange. It is interesting to note that the most valuable currencies in the world are not the US dollar or the euro, but the Kuwaiti dinar, the Bahraini dinar, and the Omani riyal. This is because these semi-fiat currencies are underpinned by a correlation between their monetary policy and their hydrocarbon-based economies. The AK Lumi, being underpinned by gold and/or renewable solar energy, thus abandons the fiat currency system altogether and establishes its value as a premium currency on the global market, whilst restoring real value to African monetary policy. On the 1st of August 2019, the Economic Community of States, Nations, Territories and Realms of the African Diaspora Sixth Region, or ECO6, was established by treaty and ratified by its member states. The ECO6 has become the second largest African institution in the world, after the African Union. The establishment of the ECO6 enables the African diaspora community to actively participate in the economic transformation, trade integration, and emancipation of continental Africa at a global level. The introduction of the AK Lumi as a single global African currency will stimulate unprecedented economic growth and the elimination of debt. As of April 2021, the AK Lumi was being used in some 142 countries, and by the beginning of 2022, it is expected that the adoption and use of the digital currency will become global. The AK Lumi will not only unite Africans across the continent and throughout the diaspora, but will also give them the financial freedom and respect that has been unrighteously usurped for too long. The economic revolution has already begun, and it will ultimately foster enhancements in business, international trade, employment, quality of life, education, health services, technology, communications and transportation. And so the goal of a prosperous Africa, built by Africans, for Africans, can finally be realized. The African Kingdom's Lumi, bringing unity, self-determination, financial freedom, growth, prosperity and the elimination of debt to all people of Africa.
Now, our advice is that we should not ignore digital currency because it is going to enable what we just saw now. We encourage people to grab it now while there's a chance. The Wall Street banks, as according to CNBC News, April 21 suggests that they are bracing for digital dollars as the next big disruptive force. And already we can tell that even Lumi is a big disruptor. Reserve Bank of South Africa is also thinking deep about creating a digital rand. And of course, there's another reality to this. It is war. It is war of digital currencies. And already you see the analysis of this newspaper talks about Korea having lost ground. And of course, the news on the left, right, tells us the big Caribe tells us about digital currency war. And with Lumi being at the center, it is really war that might end up channeled to target Lumi. It is for this reason that we invite all Africans who who are above 18, whether in the continent or outside the continent, to apply for a free account on Swifin platform. As soon as you've applied, you qualify to receive 6.2 Lumi, which is an equivalent of 100 US dollars, payable on the 28th of each month until 2023 October. And there's also a financial support in the form of a loan that can be applied for by businesses, those who've applied as businesses, and amounting to an equivalent of 10,000 US dollars, payable by 2023 and interest free. There's also a marketplace where you can either advertise, sell your products, or even buy from that particular platform, and having access to Africa wide and diaspora wide marketplace. Now, let's listen to her.
I want to tell you a little bit about my experiences with the Lumi. I registered in October and was able to get my first stimulus. And so I have been collecting my stimulus for October, November, December, January, and today I got my stimulus for February. And so I have all of that money accumulated in my virtual wallet. That's the equivalent of 500 US dollars in Lumi, the best currency in the world.
That's Her Excellency Dr. Chong. Now, let's answer the question: How do I register myself?
So in order to register yourself, it's an easy and simple process. You'll need to download the Swifin application from Play Store or iStore, depending on whether you're an iOS or Android user. So it is that Echo 6 Lumi application or the green horn against the gold background. Or you can go onto your um, laptop computer and go to the URL platform.swifin.com, and at the top right you'll find the register button where you can do your registration. Before you do your registration, we recommend that you have a couple of documentation in place, mostly your ID document. You'll need to take a picture of the details part of your ID document, your selfie with the details page of your ID document, as well as the back of the ID document. Once you have all these documents in place, then you can proceed with your registration. You'll enter your names as they appear on your ID document and provide an email address. Once you have done this, you'll need to decide whether you're opening a business account or an individual account. If it is a business account, you'll need additional documentation that pertain to your business company registration as well as your company proof of address document. And once you have selected the type of account that you registering, then you can move on with your registration. You will need to capture your mobile number using the international dialing standard, and that will be +27, for example, if you're in South Africa, +268 in Swaziland, and depending on where you are. Your under local currency, you need to capture the country where you are, and under member institution, if you're on the African continent, we are capturing Swifin Limited Uganda. Swifin Limited Uganda, that is the member institution we use. And once you have captured this, you'll need to upload a profile picture for yourself, as well as provide a username and password that you will use to log into the application going forward. Then you will need to provide an address. Remember, if this is for your business account, ensure that the proof of address that you provide is similar to the address that you capture here. And also, you'll provide the country and your date of birth. Then you'll need to upload the documents we have taken pictures of: the front of the ID, the selfie with the front of the ID, the back of the ID, as well as the ID number as it appears on your identification document. Then the last things you need to provide here are your referrer Swifin ID. This is the person who's recommending you to the platform, as well as how you heard about this digital revolution. And once you have provided these details, you will be successfully registered. You will be provided with your own SWIFT ID, which you can give to other people that you refer to this digital currency revolution, as well as your email address and your mobile number, and your login details will be displayed. So, on that note, welcome aboard. Back to you, Mo.
Now, importantly, it is highly recommended that we first empower ourselves through national family courses. Now, this is one immediate way to test if your Lumi works. This is an important program that I have registered for myself. For example, this is the second, I think, lesson of therapeutic farms and gardens. Basically, this is empowering you to take back control of what you eat and produce what you eat. It's only 3 Lumi, which is about an equivalent of 50 US dollars. And it's actually worth it because it also teaches you how to even produce, ultimately to even sell. Not only sell fresh, but it also teaches and coaches you on how to process the products that you have developed yourself. This is quite an amazing program.
So now my purse doesn't only have 500 Lumi in it because I have been selling my products and my services and my books in Lumi on my site. I just go on the shipping platform, and my friends who know what I sell, who are also registered for the Lumi, have asked, "Can I pay you in?" I said, "Absolutely. I would prefer to save Lumi than any other currency in the world because it's going to continuously increase in value." So I do therapeutic products. I am a disease reversal specialist, and so I have products for the reversal of every known disease. These I have developed over probably 20, 30 years, and the basis to this is moringa. So let me give you a little tip there. Second platform in Lumi to my friends. So I sell my books, I sell my products, and I also sell my services. I consult as a disease reversal specialist and also as a psychotherapist. And persons can pay for their consultations in Lumi.
Thank you. Now, does it mean all our problems are now solved? A big no. We have to construct multiple livelihood ecosystems in production of food, manufacturing, engineering, and a whole lot of other sectors of the economy. Importantly, we need to also
Hello?
avail our products in Lumi,
Hello?
whether
Yes?
partially or fully,
Hi.
and no
I'm fine,
one is
thank you.
coming to do it for us. It is our direct responsibility. Now, there's a standing invitation by the Queen to join
Sorry, I
her
can't have the
summit every
conversation.
Monday at 6
Thank you so
p.m.
much for the
And
call.
I'm happy to share those details to join the meeting and someone who attended.
Mr. Mbele. No, the session was perfect. I even got myself 7 Lumi coins. No, thank you so much for the exposure. I really, really appreciate it. I feel grateful. This is big, Mbele. One Africa, no poverty, inclusion, and everybody's got opportunity to participate, whether it be growing their own businesses, access to funding. Let's start using this Lumi platform. Let's start using it. Let's not stop talking about it. Let's teach our people. Each and every member of our families must have this. Each and every person must have this. We must drive this. One Africa. Aye, man. No, Gosiam.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop and really not demonstrate Swift account until there's a question related. Thank you very much. We invite you to answer, get the question how to make your Lumi work for you. And this is in Lumi.Africa. Lumi City. If you go there, they are answering that particular question. It's a team of people who are working within the Lumi Africa Merchant, which is a company. And we are also available on social media, Facebook for Africa Lumi Digital Currency. Search that, it's a group and ask to join. YouTube, you search Vando Vando, and you check, you'll find that. We hopefully will also be uploading this recorded session tonight. Thank you very much. I hand back to you, Lerato.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Moa, for the insightful presentation as always. I just want to acknowledge everybody that has joined the call subsequently. Thank you so much for joining and thank you so much for your time. Also, just acknowledge the comments from Jabulani. He mentions I must get the program and he's breeding worms. So I just mentioned in there that the NFM cost is available on the Swiftin platform marketplace and it costs 3 Lumi. So you feel free to get it. It really is a life-changing experience. At this point, I will open the floor for any questions or comments. Please feel free to use the chat functionality for any comments or questions you might have, as well as feel free to come off mute and ask your questions accordingly. Just by way of familiarizing ourselves with the infrastructure, if you are on your mobile phone and you want to come off mute, you feel free to press the screen and the controls for this meeting will come up and you can unmute yourself there. If you're on a laptop type device, please note the controls are at the bottom of the screen, so you'll find the unmute button there.
And I believe we also would welcome experiences. Yeah, Lerato, along the questions and comments.
Definitely. I am not seeing anybody come off mute, and I am not seeing any other comments in the chat.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, Nicholas. Welcome. Yes, good
Hi,
afternoon.
I come from the community. It's called Midilovo. I've noticed that some people they started to charging people 200 rand for the registration. Is that allowed?
Moa, do you want to speak to that?
Yes, Nicholas, thank you very much. That's a very important question. It is not allowed to charge people. Lumi is free and is particularly aimed at making sure that Africans who have been always marginalized and excluded from the financial system are included through Lumi. So it is actually not allowed. There's a video that I have somewhere where the Queen is upset about it, and she said it has to stop. We should help people for free. If you can't help someone for free, find ways to help them or help them to be able to register themselves, because it's possible for them to register themselves. So it's absolutely, absolutely not allowed.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicholas. Just looking in the chat, we have a question from Rivimbo. Can I register my spouse under one application? And if you don't mind more, I'll speak to this question. So, yes, you can register yourself, your spouse, and anybody in your household who is over the age of 18 under one application. Just make sure that when you have registered yourself, under your profile, you have a register user. And in that register user, more, if you can just start logging in and maybe you can just talk us through that. And under that register user, then you can register any other person that you are referring. You'll need to capture the details details as I spoke to it during the presentation are all the details about that person, and they will have their own username and login. So they will have a separate account with a separate Swift ID. It will just you would have just registered it based using the one application you have downloaded. Moa, do you want to just quickly show the register user functionality on the platform?
Okay, I'm gonna try and do that. We can entertain other questions while I log on.
Awesome. Um, are there any other questions, comments, experiences? Are there any other questions, comments, or experiences? I am not seeing anybody else come off mute. Oh, neither am I seeing any other questions or comments in the chat.
Am I visible to? Is my screen sharing?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Now, if you want, I thought you were saying I must show how to register someone, right?
Yes, please.
Now you come on your dashboard. There's register user. You click that, and you basically say if it's an individual account, you click individual account, or if it's a business account, you click business account. As Lerato indicated, individual account ultimately. So you fill all those details, but importantly, I want to just show us something else. Now, this is an individual account. However, if you click the drop down, it's an individual, or you can register if you are, for example, a financial cooperative, or you are a stock firm that has got some certificate that is registered, or you want to register as an agent, you click agent, or as a business, individual but business, or as a merchant, you can also select distribution partner or joint venture partner or community. And this is based on the type of activities that you will be undertaking. An agent gets a bit of I think a fee, about 16%, of transactions that the person you have recruited will do in future. And if they recruit somebody, you'll still get a lesser percentage. If that one recruits under you, you'll still get a lesser percentage. And the merchant is those who recruit in large numbers. Now, I thought I should just highlight that. Then you upload all the documents. Please make sure that everything is uploaded, and you select, as she indicated, Swifin Uganda. That's what you select there. And after you've done all that, assign password, and you save and add a new one, or save and open. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Moa, for that quick demonstration. Are there any other questions, comments? Feel free, please feel free to come off mute or to put your questions or comments in the chat. Going once.
I want to disrupt and interfere. I see that we've got one of our members who's been in this journey with us. Wiseman, I believe I saw you, leader Wiseman somewhere, and Jabulani Mbele. You could be having a few experiences, or you want to comment on some of the questions asked. Please feel free to do so. And I was not overriding the data, so you can still ask questions and so on and so forth. Apostle KK, I can see you. I'll love it if you and can also comment. I know you've been doing a lot of work recruiting lots of people. There's queries that people have not been paid, others their account are pending. Let's talk about all those things. Maybe, yeah, and not limit you.
Hello, everyone. I want to know the recruiting agent that they have around KwaZulu Natal, whether they are registered with you or they just private.
Moa, do you want to talk to that?
Yeah, Nicholas, they are not registered with us. They are not necessarily supposed to register with us. We are also just volunteers, I believe, as they are. And everybody else does what they do as volunteers. There's really no one who has got, for example, a license to say, look, you can go around doing that. It's because we found ways to share our own experiences and recruit people in a way that will be more convenient. So they are known to the Queen. They have been reprimanded, and what they are doing, of course, it's wrong, and we know that it has been openly challenged and are reprimanded by the Queen.
Thank you. Because they've also giving information that this is a sponsor from Jamaica, and Lumi is a currency from Jamaica. And I've been to Jamaica. I know that there's no currency called Lumi in Jamaica. So I don't know where that information is true or not.
If you want me to speak to that, sorry,
Go ahead.
yeah, I believe that was Mr. Dladlan asking the question.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Lumi is real. It is launched by Akompong, the Reserve Bank, the Central Bank of Akompong. It is a territory. It's not. It's not necessarily a government issued currency, but it is a currency issued by an independent territory called Akompong, and Jamaica is actually the leading country that is using Lumi as we speak in many sectors, from agriculture, even commercial, transport, and so on and so forth. So it's actually it's there. You can just Google it and you'll check it out as well. But we are also relating with people who are in that particular space, some who are trying to make orders in South Africa.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you. I see Ribumbo has a comment. They are registered, but my profile is not showing Marketplace and other platforms. But received the Lumi. I had someone saying your account is not yet approved. How far true is that? So I'm just going to talk through to that more. So once you have registered, your account will be in a pending state, and pending state means your documentation will still need to be validated and reviewed and ensure that you have provided the right documentation and it's actually your documentation that you have provided. So once that is done, then your account will then be approved and it will go in a approved status. And yes, when your account is in a pending status, you will definitely receive your monthly stimulus of 6.26 Lumis. So that is secured. However, in terms of the ways you can transact on the platform. There's several functionality that is not available, and yes, one of them being the marketplace, and others around. I think registering other users and stuff like that. So you will have limited functionality on the platform until your account is in an approved state. Um, and I see Wiseman, you wanted to say something. I will open up for you. Wiseman, you are on mute.
Hello.
Hi, Joblani. Yes.
Good evening, luminaries. Good evening to the whole family. I just want to contribute by saying I am myself. I was recruited. I was introduced to Lumi in May when I realized that in the family, here you are supposed to be. No one is owning the show. Everyone who's doing this is doing for the benefit of other people. You shouldn't hesitate to form your own groups wherever you are in order to cover a large space of people whom they would need to be registered. This is what we are doing at our respective areas. We are doing this out of our will and we are doing it out of our resources without asking anybody any cent. So it is a worthwhile exercise. I support it 100%. And I've realized that Africa needed to be independent. We start as we speak today. We say we move forward. We are going to adopt the Lumi and support it and ensure all that are next to us or near our reach are going to be afforded an opportunity to own Lumis. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joblani. Noble cause and noble endeavor indeed. I saw Keke, you were off mute. Do you perhaps want to throw a bone in there? The audio, if you don't mind, you are sounding a bit far. If you can just project your voice a little bit so we can hear. You still sound very far. Sorry.
Sound ha e tswe hantle mme.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Perfectly.
Am I better?
yes,
Much.
perfect.
It's perfect. Okay, okay, all right. Yeah, I just wanted to share my experience. Like Ndatemo said, that we tried by all means here in the Free State to recruit, and I can share a testimony that all of our recruits to become members of this Lumination has all got their stimulus. So it's very,
Ah,
very exciting. Those are the
good.
reports that I got from all of them. All of them. I think we are more than 30 now. I'm not so sure, but people are very excited.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's good news. That's good news. Of course,
All
we,
of
we
them.
know that there was a bit of delay. But I think they corrected it during the day. So that's good news.
Eh,
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mekeke. Thank you for that. Okay. In the absence of any other questions or comments, Moa, I'll give over to you for your closing remarks.
My closing remarks are that let us not be misled. Lumi is not a scam, and it is issued by a government, the state of the state of the African diaspora, in fact, the central bank of the state of the African diaspora. And it is something that has got people who show up with their face to say, we are here, we are leading. The Queen, Chief Timothy are always up front. But the most important point I want to make is that this is war. Whoever controls Africa controls the world. Now, if Africans are empowered economically, if Africans are organized and Africans have got one agenda to develop themselves, they will take back the power into their hands and control Africa. And Africa will control the world because the world is dependent on Africa. Research says in 2050, Africa will still have capacity to feed 9 billion people. That's a fact. Africa is a vast continent, 3 times the size of China. Don't believe what the maps are saying. It's 3 times the size of China. That's huge. Now, we need to get this Africa back into our hands. But the only way to get it into our hands is when you and me can do the little of recruiting at least one person, 2 people, 3 people, 5 people. Let's start with our families. Get every African to join and register Lumi for free because we are left now with exactly about 2 years and 6 months for the Lumi to expire, the free Lumi to expire. After 2.5 years in 2023 October, I do not think it will continue to be issued for free. It will now be something to buy. Let us get Lumi and let us try and work hard, at least recruit. Tell somebody about these are the good news. When we say the good news, this is the good news because the poor are hungry. When they've got something that is given to them to empower them to exchange for value, it is the good news to them. Thank you very much, and thank you so much for joining us. And please let us invite new people in our next meeting that is happening on Saturday so that people can understand the foundations of what is Lumi so that we don't have confusion. Thank you very much. I see
Thank
there's a
you.
hand raised. I'm not sure if it's a PC sign or it's a hand of wanting to talk.
Uh,
Thank you very much, Lerato.
Thank you more. Dr. Wiseman, I see you have managed to come off mute. You can take a moment there.
Okay. Okay. Can you
Please
hear
go.
me?
Yes.
Loud and clear. Please go.
Okay. Yeah, I've been informed by one of the guys in close proximity to us. His name is Ashley. He's been invited to the meeting and he is on the meeting tonight. So yeah, there's at least 2 people from Mitchell's Plain tonight, I can say. I had a question I actually wanted to ask. I have been registered as an individual, but I want to opt for the merchant. How do I go about that? Can I do that, or is there something else that must be done?
So if your account is still in a pending state, you can go in. There is the functionality to update your profile when your account is in a pending state, and you can then update your profile and change it from a individual to a whatever agent, merchant, or any other that you want to select. So that functionality is available. Once your account is approved, though, the best thing that you can do is send a request through to the back office, and they will then assist with changing your account to the desired one.
Okay.
Do you want to add something else more?
I just wanted to demonstrate because I tried to do that, wise man, and I'm still waiting today. I've asked for this, I think, now for a few, it's been weeks now, and my account is still there. Now, update profile of this account, which is okay. So I can update. You see, my account is approved, and as a
Yes.
result, I can only change a few things. But if your account is still pending, which I doubt it is, when you
Now
come
it's
here,
active. I've received my second stimulus already.
but is it approved? Is it approved?
Yeah, it must be approved according
No, no.
to
I- In fact, please be sure. You see, I came to personal. and check if the status of the account, if it says approved there,
Okay.
then it's approved. If it is not,
Yes.
if it is pending, and you come to profile, edit profile, you can come here and change those details. For
Okay.
instance, in this instance, you'll have an option to change from individual to merchant. But if it is approved, you can't
Okay.
do it.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
so you say it's possible for the account to be pending even though you've received the stimulus
exactly.
in your
Yes,
account?
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Okay. I didn't check that yet. I'm gonna check on that.
Yeah, like if you check this account that I'm gonna open now, it's still pending, and it has received its stimulus.
Okay.
But let me not even labor the point. If it is not approved, it can still receive the stimulus.
Okay.
Lerato?
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Wiseman. Um, and I think it is now 1955. I'm cognizant of the time. I will just check if there's any other questions or comments before we adjourn the meeting. Going once, twice. All right. On that note, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your time this evening. Thank you for joining the session. Please be sure to invite other people to come to the session. Anybody that you're recruiting, this is a great information session. Just bring them in so that they can know about what's happening. There is standing invitation for the Queen's Summit on Mondays. So Moa is putting those details in the chat so you can access them there. Then we will have our next session on Saturday at 1900 South African Standard Time. Please feel free to join and invite other people to come as well. Thank you so much for your time and good evening to everyone.
Okay, so the details are coming through of the interview of the Queen, as well as the details of the